Hello, everybody.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello,
Good
ma'am.
Very
Good
good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
My name is Dr. Aneeta Madhok. I'll be your faculty for the next 1.5 hours and every Sunday for the next 5 Sundays. So I'm happy to meet you all. There's still 1 or 2 minutes to go. We will begin when we have a full quorum. We are 38 now. We'll wait for a couple of minutes. It's not yet 2 o'clock. So just give it a couple more minutes. We'll begin, right?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Would you like me to be louder? Everybody says I speak too softly. So if you'd like me to be louder, just let me know.
Absolutely
good.
okay right now, ma'am.
Okay, that's good. That's excellent. I think we'll begin. We are right now 48 participants over here, so it's a good number to start. And as we go along, some will join in and we'll get to know everybody. So, very good afternoon, warm welcome. This is the first session of a subject called Business Strategy and Human Resources Development for the PG diploma courses of the ISTD. Now, I was there at your inaugural the last week, which was, well attended by most of the participants. And I remember seeing a few faces over there. And I hope we'll see as many people turning out every Sunday, as we did on that day. So it is a very, introductory session today. Not that it's not important. It's very important. Each session is important. And if you're not present, then make sure you watch the recording. Although I believe that if you're present, it is much more, meaningful because you have the immediate reaction and the response. And if you have a question, you can ask, you can involve yourself in the chat, you can respond and react to things. So, for example, if you have some Zoom gestures like this, if you do this, then you get a bubble out there which says, so do send us that if you do. If you do something like this, if you make a gesture like this, it's a very celebratory environment. These are some typical Zoom features. And if you like something I do, all you have to do is to make a heart like that. And if you like it, then I would love to receive all those hearts from you. So that's a little bit of some of the tricks and trades of using. There are many AI tools now I'm finding on Zoom. Every day it's getting updated. And for me, it's like a race. I have to stay on my toes to get in touch. But that's the way it is in business. And as we go along teaching business strategy, same things are going to come your way. It's a VUCA world, it's a Bani world, it's a very fast moving world. So I am hoping and assuming that a lot of the participants, at least the majority of you, have some experience, exposure to the world of work and business and management and organizations. Occasionally, there will be 1 or 2 participants who have not had any work experience or who come from a completely different line, like maybe in teaching or maybe in other from another field. And when that happens, then some of the words we use typically, they get lost. Even something like what is HR and what does HR do sometimes gets lost. So if you have any question on any of the words that we use, because everybody, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're a psychotherapist, you have your typical language. So also in management, we have our typical language. There will be some words. Only problem in management, they say that it is jargon, but I don't think it's jargon. I think it's a language which helps us to communicate better in our own profession and in HR particularly. So if you feel there's any word that I'm using or any language that I'm using that maybe you're not able to understand, then let me know. I will be there for you. Right. So I'm going to begin today talking about business strategy and HRD. And it's an interesting topic. It's one of my favorite subjects that I find, teaching. I was recently teaching a class of MBA students, and I had only one topic on that in HR and business strategy. And I felt I should have had many more because I take 10 sessions over here for you in the same subject. But I think this is, in the postgraduate diploma, we are teaching you subjects and topics that you will not find in a typical MBA program. That is why we call it a PG diploma. And lots of times people say, no, if you have an MBA in HRD, it is good enough. But if you have an MBA in HRD, you're having subjects like employee engagement, talent acquisition, compensation and benefits, motivating people, so many different topics, and training and development is one topic for one day in the HR syllabus. And just one 2 hour input you will get on what is learning and development. If you specialize in HR, then in your second year as an MBA student, you'll probably have one elective. One elective meaning one subject which you can choose to take, which will be probably 10 to 12 sessions on training and development. So that's roughly 24 hours input, But if you look at this PG diploma in training and development, it's all about training and development function, the instructional design and the evaluation and the analytics, and today how we link it up to business. So many varieties of subjects you have, all that is required for you to be specialized in training and development field. Anyone who's not coming from this field, please feel free to deep dive into the subject. It is an advanced program. It's not like an entry level. It's for people who are already doing some work in training, and it's for training managers, it's for trainers, it's for people who want to be trainers in organizations. And if you want a professional development, ISTD is the place to come. So to start with, I just want to introduce myself because otherwise you will wonder who I'm talking to. I'm Dr. Aneeta Madhok, and I'm a trainer by profession. Actually, I'm a coaching psychologist by qualification and a trainer and coach by profession. And I call myself a coaching psychologist for that reason. I could say coaching and training psychologist, but yes, I say coaching psychologist because coaching is a particular way of mind in which I operate. I run my own company called Open Spaces Consulting in Mumbai. You can look me up if you like. And this is the last time I'm going to talk about myself. I have worked a lot of years, many, many years. I'm a graduate of XLRI. Everyone knows XLRI, Xavier Labor Relations Institute. So I'm a graduate of XLRI Jamshedpur with an honors, and before that I had an honors degree in psychology. I did my PhD in management leadership after 7 or 8 years work experience post MBA. I had a short baby break, and my PhD was also in psychology in managerial leadership. After doing my PhD, I worked, actually this resume is incomplete. I worked with a business school called Narsi Monji Institute of Management Studies. I'm sure you know that. I was a professor there for many years here in Bombay. I'm based in Bombay, and I'm addressing you all over India from Bombay. And I'm very happy to be able to reach so many people in so many different cities. So this is a little bit about introducing myself so that you know the work I have done. If you want, you can visit my website, openspaces.in, which is my company's name, and get to know more about what we do. If you'd still like to, you can connect up on LinkedIn or whatever. But this is the last time I'm going to talk about myself, but I just feel it's important for me to introduce myself. As we go by, I will get to know you better. So my introduction to you will also be happening. And as I get to know you better, there are always in every class out of 100 people, there are about 20, 25 people who make themselves unforgettable. And make sure you're one of those who makes yourself unforgettable. Interact, participate, ask questions, For the right reasons, for the wrong reasons, we want to remember you, right? So make yourself memorable. We have a 10 session series, of which 5 sessions I will be taking and 5 some other faculty will be taking. And in the 10 sessions, we are hoping to cover 6 modules. There's module 1 and 2 I will be taking, which is role of HR in business strategy, an introduction to business strategy, and then analysis of internal and external environment, which is 2 sessions. And for module 4, I will take how HR partners with business strategy. I will take 1 session in that. And then the balance 5 sessions, some other faculty will be assigned, right? I have a little bit of ground rules, very important ground rules, which are for me very important in my interaction with you. So just bear with me and listen. Can you see my cursor going round and round, round and round? My cursor is
Yes.
Yes.
going round and round. I don't know why it's doing that. I haven't seen that for a long time. So check in 5 minutes before time. You know, I have a client here in Bombay and they're Japanese. And according to the Japanese work culture and work ethic, if you come on time, then you're already late. So if you're checking in, it's a 2 o'clock session, you're coming in, logging in at 2 o'clock, you're already late because by the time you get your audio hooked up and your slides open and your chat windows open and you get your water and sit down, you're already late. It's already past. So come in 5 minutes early so that all the associated things can be done. So checking in 5 minutes early, keeping mobile phones off. I keep mine right here in front of me on a stand, but it's in silent mode. I try not to look at it. It's very difficult nowadays not to look at your mobile phone. I know how difficult it is for you. It's equally difficult for me. But if you want, have you ever seen Sachin Tendulkar out on the pitch, when he's batting? No, he doesn't say, sorry, 1 minute, I have to take my phone call, my wife is calling or my chaprasi is calling, or maybe there is a courier delivery for me, I have to give an OTP. No, you don't see him doing that, no? That's why he is as great as he is, because manages himself better. He doesn't even carry his mobile phone. So if you can not keep your mobile phone even in the same room, it will be a very good thing, right? And the last is keep your cameras on. I know everyone's very shy, or maybe you're not dressed up, But I like to see your face and I make sure you see my face. How would you like it if I talk without my camera on? You wouldn't know. So I'm going to request you to everybody keep your camera on. We are trying to get as close to a real classroom as possible. And in a real classroom, you can see everybody out there. So I hope that these 3 ground rules will help. Try not to be distracting. If you have a question statement, raise your hand. I always allow people to speak. Make sure you don't speak more than 30 seconds and don't keep putting up your hand repeatedly. Allow others to have their say as well. So that's just a few ground rules and let's move forward. Why do we want to talk about business strategy when we are looking at a PG diploma in training and development? Why do we want to talk about business strategy? That's meant for business schools, that's meant for CEOs, that's meant for some marketing people to plan their sales, it's meant for operations people to plan their outputs and productions. Why should we in training and development learn business strategy? Yes, Parul.
So thank you, Dr. Aneeta. We require to understand business strategy from a perspective to be able to understand what is the need of the business and do we have the skills and competencies in our workforce that cater to or that support that strategy. If not, then we need to work towards that.
Fantastic, Parul. You already answered the question and 10 sessions objective already achieved, If you understand this small bit, then it's your entire, course objectives which are already achieved. That's what we hope. We want to understand the link between business strategy and HR. Actually, the subject is called business strategy and HR. But I also add training and development because I think that's why we are here is for training and development. We also add that. And we learn how to think strategically and do whatever we do has to meet a business need, not because it feels good to do whatever we are doing. Right. So that's the second one. And the third one is having done whatever we do by way of business strategy, we try and, evaluate it at the end of the line. And you can put down your hand, Parul. You can put your hand down. Yeah, thank you. So these are the 3 main objectives of this program. When I was writing the course material, and all of you have received the course material, I presume. And I was writing the course material for this exam. I was for this paper. I was told somebody कि हाँ HR में तो है तो strategy आजकल there is no strategy in HR. There is no such thing as strategy in HR. There is no such thing as strategy in learning and development. And what are you going to teach these students? Because when they go out there, they will find there's no strategy in HR. But believe me, that's not true. In most cases, that's not true. So you will work for a range of companies and you will, as a trainer, as a training manager, as a freelance trainer, there's a continuum you will encounter. That continuum means on this side of the continuum, there are companies that say there is no strategy in HR. I will do what I have to do. Business is business, and I will make my own targets and goals, and I will not involve any HR people in the process. And on the other end of the continuum, and I have got many best practice showcases for you, is one kind of company that says, no, HR will sit on the table and talk to me, and HR will be on the board of directors, and HR will get involved in every aspect of business strategy because I cannot do anything without HR. So there is a range in between, and you'll be somewhere or the other. And it's quite obvious, I mean, you see companies like Twitter. Everyone knows the Twitter story, how Elon Musk took over Twitter and took charge. As soon as he bought out Twitter and he assumed office as the head of Twitter, he got rid of hundreds of people. He said, no, the work culture is too laid back. People are too creative. People are having too much fun. And there's no real, nuts and bolts of work getting done. So he laid off so many people and they were given a letter saying that you need not come. The mistake that Elon Musk did was he did not consult human resources before he did that. Had he taken HR along, he would not have got 250 plus court cases in his face because he did not do it properly. He did it violating a lot of principles of natural justice, violating a lot of laws, In America, different states have different laws. Unlike in India, there's a central law and all states follow. But in the US, that's why it's called United States, because the states' laws are much more powerful than the federal laws. And every state has its own laws. And depending on which state your employee is hired in and which state he's working in and where his payroll is coming from, the laws apply differently. And Elon Musk did not consult HR at the time of making that statement and getting rid of so many people. So he had 200 plus court cases that he had to fight. Continues to fight a lot of them. Not all of them have been settled. And the culture of the company has had a big setback. There is a lot of lack of bonding, a lot of lack of employee engagement. People are working with their nose to the ground because that's his style of working. So culture change has also not been taken care of in a proper manner. So I'm just saying that even modern day companies, even global companies, even world-class companies like Twitter often make the mistake of creating business strategy without involving human resources. So you will work with companies on a continuum. You'll work with companies that have no link with HR and strategy, and have worked with companies where HR is involved in every decision. Somewhere in between. What is important for you to remember is if you're going to be in HR and you're going to be in training, whether you're an external trainer on hire by your company and client, whether you're freelancing, your purpose is to move the company closer and closer to aligning with what a business need may be. Right? So that's the journey that you have to travel from this end of the continuum to the other end. And that's the progress that you have to bring in. So that's the objective of this program, is to give you an appreciation, understanding, and knowledge as to how business strategy and HR can coexist and be linked up very intricately so that you can enable your clients, your companies, your employers, whichever way you work, to move in the right direction. So we're going to talk about the first module from here on, and the learning outcomes only for this module are to understand the importance of the role in HR and driving business strategy, learn how training and development plays a critical role in the accomplishment of business outcomes, sensitized to the expectations of internal stakeholders. Who are the internal stakeholders of HR? All the line managers, right? All the CEOs.
Yes.
CEOs, line managers, vendors, they're all internal stakeholders of HR. To understand how HR is changing and how it will shape in the future, and to learn about the role of HR as a partner in business. What is the HR BP role? Here's a quotation by Sun Tzu, who was a Chinese philosopher, Taoist. He's written a wonderful book called The Art of War. And the place where strategy is most evident is in a war situation. Because a lot of wars are won only on basis of strategy, not on basis of strength. If you remember, in the old days, we used to have tribal systems, and every place there used to be tribes, and there would be a chief of the tribe. The chief of the tribe was not necessarily the strongest person. The strongest person would be the chief of army staff or the chief warrior. The person who would be the chief of the tribe would be the person who had the most strategic mind and the most strategic outlook. Because with that strategy, you could enable a win to happen. If you look closer in our Mahabharata, in those who have read and understood the Mahabharata, at least understood the story, the Kauravas and the Pandavas were given the option. You can take Balram's entire army, or you can take Krishna, whichever you like, So the Kauravas took the entire army, which was wonderful, fabulous army. No one has had such a big army and well-trained army before. But the Pandavas said, no, we will choose to have Krishna. We are only 5 of us, 100 of you, plus that big army. Right? So why did they do that? Because they knew that Krishna is going to build a strategy for them to win. And they knew that the strategic advice that Krishna will give will be very valuable, which it turned out to be. So if you read the Mahabharata, how the war was won by the Pandavas was all because of strategy. And you will go back into history, you will see the Helen of Troy, the big Trojan horse, you will see the Kalinga Wars, you will see Chandragupta Maurya. All those wars were won only on the basis of strategy, not on the basis of strength. If you see closer, cricket and and football, you will find all the matches are won based on strategy, not on strength. Strength is taken for granted. Yes, we will be the best team. We'll have the most competent team, but we will also have the best strategy, because without that, we cannot win. Anyway, I'll keep giving you a lot more examples as we go along. We all know that there are 4 M's in management. So I was last week doing a presentation for a client where we had just finished a full job evaluation assessment, competency mapping exercise and all. And I was meeting this big man who's the owner promoter. And I just started my presentation by saying, there are 4 M's in management: manpower, money, machines, materials. He says, "Excuse me, madam." I said, "Yes." There's only 1 M as far as I'm concerned, and that is manpower. You get the right man on the job, and machines, money, materials, markets all takes care of themselves. So most CEOs who have their head to the ground will tell you that the most important part of business is the people. Is the men. I like to think of women as well, not just men, but I'm assuming that men includes women. And so it's the people, it's the human beings, and it's the people who occupy the roles. They drive the business, and the rest, if you have the right person in place, money, machines, materials all takes care of themselves. So we need to align people, all these. You also need to align money, machines, materials, but you mostly need to align people with business and strategy. And there is no perfect alignment. There is no imperfect alignment. There are consequences of high alignment, consequences of low alignment. Some of these things are in your book, which you can read also, the book that you have received. If you haven't received, you will receive it. Don't worry. It's probably on its way. I know the office is working very hard and overtime to make sure your program is administered very seamlessly. And you will definitely receive the book in case you haven't. So why do we call this the value chain of learning? What is the value chain? It's a chain of events, chain of processes, chain of things that happen that deliver value. So suppose I was saying value chain of marketing. Then I'll say, okay, product quality. After product quality, it is advertising, communication, customer centricity, customer satisfaction, brand loyalty, brand power, and that delivers to you competitive advantage. But now I'm not talking in marketing, I'm talking about learning and development, training and development. And I'm going to say that the more the employees are learning, the more is the competencies they have. The more the competencies they have, the more is the organizational capability that we build. And the more is the organization capability, the more is the competitive advantage that a company has. It's very clear. Without people, without learning people, you will not have a competitive advantage. So if you're going to start working with the company, the early years of your life, you're, say, a management trainee. You start your work as a management trainee. And as a management trainee, you move up. You're not going to stay a management trainee all your life. Maybe you'll become a sales executive or a finance executive. And when you do that, you're not going to stay there all your life. You're going to become a finance, maybe deputy manager, and then maybe manager, and then maybe, senior manager, maybe general manager, maybe CFO, chief financial officer. You're not going to be doing the same job. As a chief finance officer and a finance executive, the job is different. You're going to be doing a different job. So what makes you make that change and transition? Nothing but learning and growing. You can learn on your own. You can learn nothing wrong. In fact, that's the best kind of learning. Learn on your own. Yeah, but and you can learn through watching people, learning through observing, learning through. But the training and development department says not everybody does the best. So let's give us some catalyst for learning. Let's have some programs. Let's have some training inputs. Let's have some different form of organization development inputs, and then we will deliver so that we get a competitive advantage. Got it? That's the value chain. If you don't learn, you don't have advantage. You remain stagnant. Can you imagine? Nobody is learning. Everybody is just working, doing the same job day in and day out, year in and year out. Everyone's doing the same job. And if you're doing the same job, you're not learning. Can you imagine how stagnant the organization will become? So, what do we learning and development professionals need to do to align? First of all, we need to make ourselves much more business savvy. Okay. We ourselves are not smart enough. I've seen training and development people sometimes don't really get involved in the business. They are caught up in their ivory towers. They're thinking, what is the next training program I should develop? What do we mean by leadership development? Let's do some leadership development program. Acha, that faculty is very good. Bring that faculty, do a program. Okay, that topic is very good. Let's do a program on design thinking or on storytelling or on what are the latest topics. Let's do a program on that. So I've seen a lot of people who are just caught up in an ivory tower in their own limited thinking and just chasing a nice program with nice faculty, with nice feedback where everyone has a good time. All right. But then does it meet any business need is not concerned. So to develop business mindsets, first of all, we as learning and development professionals need to be more business savvy, more than anything else. Right? Any questions? No, I don't want to be business savvy. Oh no, why should I learn about my business? I'm an HR person, no? Do you think that way? Okay, so some of the other things we have to do as learning and development professionals is to strategize, shape organizational capabilities, meet present needs, future business needs. Not only today, but so like I said, if you're going to be a finance executive, you have to move to being a CFO eventually. You have to learn to strategize and shape. HR has to take care of those needs of yours. Then we also gain an awareness of how technology today, AI is like crazy everywhere. And in learning and development, it's even more. How do we influence key stakeholders to build sustainable organization-wide learning culture? Driving impactful learning roadmaps to build and develop organizational talent. So these are some of the things we need to do. So I can see some comments coming from R. I don't know who R is, but R says Henry Ford has said like this when he went bankrupt, give my men back to me, I will take back the rest of the M's. Yeah, you're very right. That's very true. So good. If possible, log in with your full name. I will know. Otherwise, I'll say Mr. R. Right? So some of the things that chief executives say. I happen to be married to one, but he's not represented here. So every time I meet a CEO, I say, okay, and why don't you send me a little sound bite or a little word bite? On WhatsApp, I keep receiving messages on what do you think is the role of HR? What should HR be doing more of? So I keep receiving from many people a little bit WhatsApp bite, and they send me things like this. HR is expected to implement and deliver services and practices that support business delivery and simultaneously help towards meeting the requirements of employees and stakeholders. This is another thing that HR says. Okay, just read that. I expect HR to align with our corporate objectives and play a leadership role towards shaping our future and people agenda. So here is that CEO that says that HR must make the best of all opportunities and work hard towards achieving credibility. And credibility of HR comes by seeing how best they can impact business practices. Why does HR not carry much credibility is because we do not do anything about understanding the business practices. The minute we start speaking business, people will start looking it up. So this was a little survey that I did with some HR people and asked them, what are your top strategies, top priorities? Let's rank them in order to get an idea as to what you think the HR should be doing. So this was the priority that came out. This is 3-4 years old, but if I was to do it again, I don't think it would be very significantly different. Just a small little survey we had done. So acquiring, training, retaining talent is number one. So training always comes as number one. Even post-COVID, what is the top requirement from HR? We want trained manpower. Because what we have is not trained. We don't have the right skills. We have nearly the right skills, near fit, but not the best fit skills. So we need to develop the skills too much. Then everything else falls in place. What do line managers? Line managers is what? All the sales, marketing, finance, supply chain, all the other people. What do they want from HR? What do they want? They want, number one, availability of skills. If I don't have skills, I've got this great big manufacturing setup. If I don't have skills, I can't produce anything. I was recently doing some training at Maruti and I was told that they're setting up a new plant in Gujarat somewhere, and that new plant, so HR has to get involved in hiring so many people. If HR cannot make the right skills available, or if they hire substandard people, or they hire people which not related to the job, don't have the relevant skills and experience, can you imagine how the company is going to flounder? So HR has to hire the right person with the right skills. That's the first priority. How you provide those skills is up to you. You hire the skills, you promote from within, you train from within the company, you hire from within the company, you build talent pools where the turnover and attritions are high. You build talent pipelines where you feel that talent needs time to develop and grow. There are ways of doing it. And while I'm not going into those modalities, but availability of skills, number one, priority for everybody. There's a recent article, 2023 article in the Forbes magazine, and that just says that what are some of the critical shifts for HR impact. So HR is not just at the table, but it's embedded throughout the organization. Now, over the course of the next 5 or 6 sessions that I'll be taking with you, I will bring to you some best practices, which are interviews with different people, mostly with CHROs or chief learning officers, which will share with you how HR business partner roles are now getting more and more embedded in the organization. They are not just sitting in their own HR department, they are sitting where the organization needs them, in different business units, in different business clusters, and they're catering only to those units and those clusters. Not just focus on people, focus on performance. This is very big. Today, result orientation, performance orientation is coming in very big way. And there's a lot of artificial intelligence tools that enable, a lot of AI tools. I can talk about it offline, but right now it's not the space to talk about it. But there are a lot of AI tools that are enabling performance of people. Even including your mobile phone, you can have a things to do list. Download an app called Asana. It'll give you a list of things to you. Punch in your goals. It will help you track and monitor what you're doing. And it'll keep nudging you if you didn't do whatever you were supposed to do. You can be self-monitoring, self-performing person also. So there are many AI and non-AI based tools that are available to focus on performance, not just people. So it means people and performance, both. Without that, it doesn't happen. If you focus only on performance, then where is the humanity? Not just comfortable with technology, so I'm not just tech savvy, but I'm leveraging technology. I'm thinking of ways in which I can, implement and create value for my organization. Not just hybrid work. Everyone's today, I had gone for this SHRM conference on Monday last week, and here in Mumbai, and everyone's talking about hybrid work, flexible work, hybrid work. Want to get people back to work or work from home. Work 5-day week, not 6-day week. Work 4-day week. Work 2 days in work and work 2 days at home. So lots of combinations, hybrid types are coming. But they say, okay, forget whatever model you want to put in place. Get it over with. is the work actually fulfilling? Are people actually engaging? And are people actually satisfied? Are people actually giving their best? Doesn't matter whether it's hybrid or otherwise. So that's one of the critical shift that HR needs to make. We get into a very controlling state of mind, and we say in HR, "Arey, we have to see the bodies at work. They have to come to office. And they have to clock in with their fingerprint and clock out with their fingerprint. Some nowadays it's face recognition. Fingerprint is not enough. They want your face recognition. You have to go show your face to the camera, and then only your attendance is marked. So not just hybrid work, but also very fulfilling work is important. It doesn't matter whether you come on time and go on time. It doesn't matter where in the world you are, but as long as the work you're doing, you're feeling fulfilled. That's very important because, you know, work timings can vary and work commitments can vary. But if you're excited and interested to what you want to do, then your contribution will be coming from your heart and your soul. Not just a strong culture, but a sustaining culture. So you can see HR is on a tightrope all the time. HR is playing a balancing game between what the organization wants and what employees want. So some of the things that HR does to walk this tightrope are we have to attract and retain talent. And that leads into my talent training and talent development. We have to motivate and engage employees. We have to create a values-based culture. We have to develop people capabilities. We have to build employer brand. All this is central to the training and development function. One of the HR gurus, somebody whom I've had the fortune of meeting many times, the successful organizations will be those that are able to quickly turn strategy into action, to manage processes intelligently and efficiently, to maximize contribution and commitment. So that is Dave Ulrich. Wonderful human being, very sincere, very, very straightforward, very pleasant man. And you will find that he has written so many books and such a great exponent, particularly for today's subject and for this subject. You will find he is constantly talking about HR needs to align more and more with business. It's a journey. We keep traveling that path. So what does HR do? Are there any questions at this stage?
No,
Any
ma'am.
questions? No? If there are, just keep raising your hand and I will address. I love to address questions because then it takes a little bit, breather for me. It gives me, and I get to catch. Yes, Mahita. Surabhi Mahita. Please unmute and ask your question.
Hello. Hi. Hi, Aneeta.
Hi. Hi.
So, I was just wondering, there's a statement you made that it doesn't matter until you're happy with what you're doing about the hybrid model, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, the main reason I'm asking you this is we are in the same dilemma in our organization, whether to call back people or, have the hybrid model, just continue with the hybrid model. So, as in just work perspective, everything is going well and everything is fine. But the people whom we have hired during the COVID, during the time of the COVID, have no personal connect like we had with, people whom we have hired earlier, and where we had personal, one-on-one interaction, where we know on, more than professional level. So we had missed that connect or that kind of culture we have developed in our organization from years on, that we had missed because of this work from home culture. So how far, what do you think, is it only the performance level we need to think when we are taking this decision, or also on a deeper point of cultural, to build up the rapport again, to build up, get back the fun for them to experience the office culture as such? That's
So
what I was wondering.
Surabhi, one of the things, there are two parts to your question. First of all is we are debating the hybrid versus the, full work culture kind of thing. Let me share with you, before the pandemic, HR people used to be chasing attendance. Okay, they used to be chasing attendance. And for years together, we would be struggling. Are people not coming on time and people coming on time, and then they're not spending enough time. And then we'd go crazy trying to formulate different ways of recording attendance. It used to be a sign-in register, and then it used to be a fingerprint.
Biometrics.
Oh my God, it was crazy. Just, wielding the sword, and it really had no impact other than give HR a bad name. All right. Same way now we are going to be cracking the whip on hybrid and work from home. And it's going to be the same struggle and same dialogues. I can see them repeating. I can see them coming back, that it's the same thing. You're going to be torturing people to come 2 days a week or 4 days a week or 5 days a week. It is, and then when they come, then they have to mark in that so many hours of work they have to log in. If they're coming for 2 days a week, they have to put in 8 hours a day. And then you'll be, yes, if there is a fun and a joy and an engagement in work, people will come and there's a meeting call, hey, there's a meeting, come. So you create the pressure for that meeting, because that meeting is vital to the project that we are doing, and the project that we are doing is vital to the organization, and you won't be a part of it, you might die of FOMO. So all that might happen. So you create engagement in a ways that people find fulfilling. That's number one. Number two, you talked about the culture that was there when people were bonding with each other and having cups of tea and conversations. I know that pre-pandemic culture was beautiful. Work ethic was very nice and we used to love it. But now a different kind of culture has to be put in place. We cannot hope for the past to come back today. Based on that past experience, we are trying to recreate today. That won't work. We have to look at today's context and find a solution to culture building today. So it doesn't mean that with hybrid working and with work from home, you cannot have positive organization culture. Doesn't mean that you cannot have engaged employees without without culture. Doesn't mean people are going to feel alienated just because they're hybrid. No, it means your bonding still continues. You still have social forums, you still have so much that you can create. So think of new culture you wish to create, not an old culture you wish to recreate. Right. So these are my two answers to your two questions. Right?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
One attendance and hybrid, one on culture. Like, create a new culture. Come on. It's a positive growth mind. And look at the current slide on your screen that's giving you the shift that you have to make. And that's a journey. Okay, Ravi Kumar Yadav, you've raised your hand and then we'll take 30 seconds and then move on. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Ma'am, my question is that you were just speaking about, the HR people should also know how the business is actually functioning, rather only just, focusing on their HR related work.
Yes.
That is a very big task, because I have personally not seen most of the HR guy getting interested in the actual day-to-day working of that particular company. So how we can, get in terms with that.
So Ravi, you missed my input where I said life is on a continuum. You will find people in this end of the continuum where HR people are not involved, not interested, and the CEOs also don't involve them. But on the other side, you will find plenty of examples where HR is involved. I'm going to be bringing you these case studies. They're there in your book. I'm going to be bringing you videos also around those. Right? So don't take me backwards, take me forwards, please. Because your question was answered 20 minutes ago. Right, thank you. So this is the journey that you have to travel. So people like Surbi, instead of being reactive, you got to be more proactive. Instead of being an employee advocate, you have to be a business partner. So this is the journey. Nobody is fully there. Okay, nobody is fully there. Stop looking at the world in a binary manner, first of all. When you're talking about business strategy, it's never binary. Everything's in a continuum. So people have zero alignment with business strategy. HR not interested in business, and HR is interested in business, and there are people in between and companies in between. All right. And it's the journey that's important. It's progress that's important. You can never get to perfection. You can never be perfectly proactive. You can never be a perfect business partner. You can never be perfect task and enablement focused, but you can get closer and closer. So moving from away from traditional towards emerging roles means it's a journey. And that's how HR has actually, if you look back 20, 25 years ago, we were much further along the road, much behind in this journey. And today we are much further along the road. So it's a journey. So this is the role of HR as a business partner. Things that we do to be an employee advocate, things that we do to be an HR capital developer, things we do to be a functional expert, as a strategic partner, being accepted as a leader for the HR team. So these are all the things we have to represent employee point of view. We have to develop human capital. We have to be expert in our own function. HR has its own technology, its own methods, and we have to be experts in our own ways. We have to be partner with business, and we have to still have our own leadership qualities as HR professionals. I want to share with you, particularly Ravi Kumar Yadav and others who feel that there is no such thing as strategy in business. HR people are not interested in strategy. Kuch nahi hota, it's only namka vaste. Or I want to show you this one. Just take a look and see what you have to say.
Imagine there's no HR. It's hard to even try. No plan, no purpose. A culture to live by. Imagine the people living uninspired. Ooh, what we need are the dreamers who create and innovate. New directions and advances to connect and celebrate.
Trying to imagine a world without HR, the first thing I think of is chaos. Just trying to manage the administrative side of it alone with benefits and hires and promotions and raises, things like that, it would be impossible.
We need HR to help us recruit, retain, and develop our professionals.
To provide me with some strategic vision, new trends that are going on, and how best we can make our company the best place to work.
To be collaborative and innovative.
To build a culture where the best people can do their best work.
Having the best HR professionals is critical.
I have trusted partners who are aligned with our organization's mission and vision of great service to the community.
They help us manage our greatest asset, which is our people.
You know, for me, that's the glue that brings it all together is the HR department.
A world without HR, I can't imagine it.
So imagine what the world would be if HR did not partner with business. Any questions so far? Are there any questions? Anybody wants to raise any discussion right now? A space for you. Okay, there's a little case study. There's a little case study, and this is based on a real life incident that I witnessed, one of my clients. So any one person can read it out aloud. Can you read, any one person? Any volunteer? Raise a hand, volunteer.
I can read, can I?
Yes, please.
Okay. Should I start from Rajiv is the CEO of the Mumbai-based professional services company where you are the CHRO. The company has an all-India presence with branches, offices in 12 cities across the country and manufacturing facilities in 2 states. On many occasions, Rajiv has consulted with you on many decisions he has taken about market and money matters in the past. He believes that HR is an important factor in his success. This morning, in a journal meeting with senior executives, Rajiv mentioned in the passing that he is planning to outsource a major part of the IT function rather than develop all application in-house. You were not aware of this plan. After the meeting, you have received many messages from IT personnel across the country worried that they will lose their jobs. Lot of rumors are floating around about the future scenario. As the CHRO, what are the top 3 action priorities you would set for managing this situation?
Okay. So you're getting the scenario? Here is this is happened. It happens all the time. The CEO lands up making some statement. We are going to be moving. We are going to be shutting down an office, or we are going to be merging with another company, or we are going to be outsourcing this, and then the rumors start going crazy. Then HR has not been consulted nor informed about any business strategy decision. So this is a scenario. I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. And in those breakout rooms, please take a screenshot of this. I will also put a screenshot of this in the chat window. I will give you 10 to 15 minutes to discuss this case study. Agreed? Is the first time you're doing a breakout room? If it is, then you will enjoy it. The idea is to get involved with each other and get to know each other and learn to think things through, right? Also in the chat window, I put my mobile number and my email ID. So for if any reason you feel that anything you have said is evoking a question in your mind, please feel free to WhatsApp me and ask me a question. Try not to call because calls get very interruptive. But send me a WhatsApp, take a time from me when you can call. I'll call you back and then. All right, so there's a phone number and an email ID. Everyone's ready for breakout room?
Yes.
You will get a
Yes.
message on a breakout room and start that. How do I start the breakout room? We are how many of us? 79. So I'll make 15 breakout rooms. So you'll be 4, 5, 4, 5 a piece, you know. So I don't want it to be too crowded. If they're 10, 15, then the idea is to just to get to mingle with each other. So I'm making 13 breakout rooms. You've got 15 minutes to discuss. At the end of 15 minutes, I will close the breakout rooms. Please join your room. Those who haven't joined their chat rooms, their breakout rooms, please join. Ankita, Vandana Gupta, Joy Bhattacharya, Gopal, Vidya Handa, not joined yet. Your rooms, Garima, Shriyanshu, Pritika, Shayod. Please join the rooms assigned to you.
Anita, we joined and we discussed and we came back.
Oh,
Yes.
that's why I'm
Yeah.
seeing people. Okay, good, good,
Yes.
good. So I'm going to close the rooms now. If
Sure.
almost 12, 13 minutes are up, it'll take 60 seconds to close the room because the minute you give the closing command, it takes 1 minute. Yeah, so I can see Shriyanshu saying our breakout room is done formulating 3 action points. But you know
Yes,
what?
ma'am.
I can only see list of participants in every room, and I can see those who are muted and those who are speaking, just the microphone, and many are with the camera off and being muted. And many people have not participated in the discussion. Every group has people, like group number 2, there's nobody who's participated. It's just been silently sitting in the room. That's what my data is telling me. Most other rooms, there's only 1 or 2 people talking. Anyway, this is your opportunity. So 15 seconds more, we'll close the rooms, will be closed.
In our room, it was very democratic. We let everybody speak.
That's why you finished.
Yes, ma'am. It was room 11. All 4, 5 people have contributed.
Excellent. They're all come back. All coming back. Okay. So how was the discussion?
Very
fruitful.
It was
Very,
good.
it was nice. It actually
was
was a
good.
ice breaking sort of a thing wherein we exchange our thoughts.
Yeah, it's the first experience of each other that we're having.
True,
Yeah.
true, true.
Okay,
Feels
one.
good to connect with the peers.
In
Yeah.
the morning, did you have class in the morning?
Yes,
Yes.
we did.
Yes.
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 We had two.
You already had this, your third class for the day. So you're
Correct.
getting to know each other. And I think you might form a WhatsApp group or whatever to get to know each other better. Sometimes the students in one city like Delhi or Bombay and Bangalore and all, they want to get together as well so that they can meet and greet each other at least face to face.
True.
All that happens. All that happens. So good. I will only ask because room number 2 finished fast. I'm going to ask room number 2 to please share with us what conclusion you came with, and then we will see if there is need for us to add on any one more perspective. We will do that because otherwise we run short on time, right? So room number 2, who's going to be speaking? I got Shriyanshu saying that our team is done with formulating 3 action points.
Yes, yes.
Please
Yeah.
unmute yourself, room number 2, group number 2, and tell us what you feel. I'm going to put up the slide again one more time. Yes. So tell us what you came up with. What should Rajiv be doing? What should the CHRO be doing? What is the course of action?
So we came up with 3 action points. The first priority,
Who is speaking? I can't see who is speaking. Can you say who? What's your name?
Shriyanshu.
Shriyanshu. Okay. Yes, Shriyanshu.
So we'll do this way, like we all have came up with. So one point I'll speak, and other points my other teammates would be explaining it, like Shairo then Paru.
Very
So
nice.
the first priority which we set in our 3 action point which we came up is a proactive communication, because the CHRO needs to communicate and have a two-way dialogue and understanding with the CEO, Mr. Rajiv, to
Yeah.
understand why this happened, why he has taken this decision, and that too without consulting the HR. And because there is rumors going around in among employees about the future of their employability, their job security. So there needs to be communication which needs to be sent to employees, also to all stakeholders, to sort of try to make them understand what the present situation is, so that rumors does not stems out
Yes.
much more. So
Yes.
that's the first priority.
Communication is the first priority.
And for point second and third, I think Shairo then Paul. you can explain.
Shayad, then Parul.
So was from room number 8.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sharod, if you can
It-
please.
Yeah, so I think the other point about the priority two could be that the CHRO needs to understand if there is a what is the impact of this decision that the CEO has taken, and if it is actually going to impact the job of people, then is there a mitigation plan? I mean, is it that it is absolutely necessary to outsource it, and is it not possible to bring certain skills and make our people more capable to, instead of outsourcing it, is it possible that in-house we can this thing? So that could be the priority number two.
Okay. All right. Great. Any other thoughts from room number 2? Okay, there's no perfect scenario, like I said, and there's no perfect answer to this particular question. What can be done now? First of all, is damage control. So, very quick meeting with Rajiv is in order, and formulating some communication is very important. I'm reminded of the time, when 5 years ago, our finance minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, she announced that, a lot of banks, public sector banks are going to get merged. And the merger was announced. It was called amalgamation. So banks like Union Bank, Canara Bank, and Andhra Bank will form one bank. So there's a lot of amalgamation activities happening. So she made an announcement suddenly, like we had the demonetization announcement came suddenly. And there was a lot of backlash, media, participants, people, employees, everyone was saying people are going to lose jobs, people are going to lose money, the banks will shut down. There's a lot of chaos. Within 24 hours, some statement had to be issued once more from the finance minister's office saying that nobody is going to lose their job and nobody is going to lose their deposits in any bank. So that statement was called as a kind of a firefighting measure. Too many fires started burning, you have to do some firefighting. So same way with Rajiv and CHRO, you have to get into a firefighting mode and make sure that all the rumor mill is taken care of. All the questions, FAQs that may exist, you need to answer them. And if you cannot answer them, then you have to say, we'll come back with an answer. So that's very important to have communication. Now, communication could be from any point. It could be a circular, it could be a memo, it could be emails, it could be WhatsApp, it could be on the notice board, it could be a video message played out to all people in the organization, or it could be, town hall meetings, so many ways of communicating. So corporate communication, HR will have to play a big role in this process. And then after that, to sit down in a structured manner to make a plan for how the situation is going to be dealt with. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So formulating an organization structure as to how many people will be laid off, how many will not be laid off, who are our key talent, who are the people you want to retain, what kind of severance pay we will be willing to pay, and how we make it easier for people, give them an outplacement service, or so many other ways in which it can be done. So a proper structured plan will have to be created. Two things. One is straight damage control communication strategy, and second is an actually implementation strategy of this scenario. And HR will have to partner this time. If HR does not partner, then this entire thing can be managed in a very haphazard manner. It will get very haphazard and out of control. So that's my statement. Any questions so far? I can see something in the chat window. Okay. So this brings us to the end of our first session. Is there any question, any thoughts? Any of the other groups had any other way of dealing with this situation?
Aneeta, we had some like more points for the situation. Like Leo from my group, according to him,
Yes.
we should consult the policies, the existing policies, if any of them are being violated while taking this decision. Because just as you gave that Elon Musk example, so the
Yeah.
same situation could be repeated. So one point was that I think I'm not doing much justice to what Leo had said because he explained in much detail. And one thing from Srinivasulu from my group said that the HR's role should be revised, because in this case, if such a big decision was being taken and he was not consulted, not even bothered to be informed.
Yes.
So HR's role should be determined again, like some discussion should happen upon that.
Okay.
Also, some, I think, business intelligence can be involved.
That you're making, which is very valid, that
Mhm.
as a separate agenda, Rajiv and CHRO need to sit down and talk about how things will work in the future between them, and they can prevent such things from happening one more time. So how will the HR role evolve from here so that we move closer and closer in our journey towards business alignment?
Right.
Yeah, ma'am, can I just add to that? Thanks, Dipali. Can I just add to that? Leo here.
Yes, Leo.
Yeah. The point is, see, when we are taking such a big decision, and as I said it a little while earlier during our breakout group, first of all, thanks for the opportunity. We had a good time interacting with each other over there. The point is that such a decision has already been taken. There would be power play, there would be egos at hand, there would be various things that would come up. So the damage control would need to be done in different ways in different phases. So one would be depending upon where in the pecking order is the CHRO, all right, as compared to Rajiv. As Rajiv already announced it to the board, as he announced it to the stakeholders, what kind of damage control needs to be done. So I would get my BI team on place also. We would get them in order, and we would have some amount of data with the whole thing when we are talking about it. We can't have only platitudes being spoken into the communication with the staff. There has to be hardcore data which would have to be also driven into the whole thing. That's something which we would think about doing as part of the strategy, which is also something which we had taken in from our end.
Communication in a way that carries weight and credibility. It's not just platitudes. So there has to be proper data evidence and it has to be in a proper manner, authentic and clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Anybody else has anything to add to the case discussion? Nothing to add? Okay, so I'm going to give you a homework for next session, which is on Sunday, next Sunday. There is a case. You'll be getting the copy of these slides at the end of the day today. I will be sending them before I leave this computer. I'll get the slides out and to you. So there's another similar caselet, tiny one. This again is a real life example, slightly camouflaged, something that I witnessed myself. So this is something that I will just request you to read and assimilate and try and think of what could be answers to the question at the end, which can be answered by you. And we will just do a general question and answer on this case. We will not do breakout rooms next Sunday. We'll just begin with this case discussion. All right. And before I close, I want to tell you today's references for reading. There's a book by Dave Ulrich, The HR Value Proposition, which is a very good book. You can available on Amazon. You can buy it or you can read it from Beg, Borrow, Steal from any library resources you may have. And then there is two articles which I will be sending you. One article I'll send you, which is a publication by IBM Institute, A New Approach, a New Capability, and the Strategic Side of Human Resources. And the second handout I will be sending you, checklist on what is the role of HR. I'll send you the slides and these two handouts today, definitely. All right. And
ma'am,
I'm a teacher at heart, so you can expect some homework or the other almost every time. Yes, please.
Ma'am, could you please put up the case study back again, the second one?
Yes, please take a screenshot if you have to. But you'll be
thanks.
slides. You'll be getting the slides. It's the second case study, Rakesh Shetty.
Thank you so much.
Right. Okay. If there are no questions, we can move on. Anybody wants to say anything? In our next session, we will be going now deep dive. Today was just an introduction. We'll be going deep dive into what is business strategy. And as HR people, we don't understand certain things about business strategy. So consider this a beginning primer in business strategy. After the next 2 or 3 classes, you will be able to speak all the language of strategy and understand all the models of strategy that you come across in all the management big circles. Karishma, you have a question, please?
Ma'am, you told us something about a book that we should be reading. Could you repeat the name of the book?
The HR value proposition.
Yeah, thank you.
Ulrich. Yeah, the HR value proposition that talks about what is the value that HR brings to the table and how do we enhance that value. Anything else, anybody? Okay, we shall close here. Thank you so much for being present.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
It was wonderful.
It was a
Thank you,
wonderful
ma'am.
session.
glad you
Thank you, ma'am.
enjoyed. I've given my number and my email ID. Please feel free to reach out, create a WhatsApp group of community. Thank you so much. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all appreciative words.
Ma'am, may I ask a question?
Yes, please.
So I just wanted to know that the exams, right? What kind of questions can we expect?
Okay, the admin part of it will be answered by the office. I cannot answer that question.
Okay.
Perhaps a little early to think of exams right now, but all admin questions can be answered by either Lokesh or Sarita Bist.
Okay.
This question, the diploma office people. I think there is some.
And do you also mind sharing the link of the HR value proposition by Ulrich? I mean, do you have the link for it, or is it the book that you are supposed to buy it?
It's available on. If you want, you buy. If you feel that you don't require to keep a book in the office and you can get some soft copies elsewhere, you can do that too.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Bye.